Mary had a little lamb.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Help is on the way.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
The Vice President's media blitz this week kicks off today. In a rare appearance, Harris airing on the Call Her Daddy podcast tonight, talking about reproductive rights and other key issues for women.
And can we try to think of any law that gives the government the power to make a decision?
I know what you're going to ask.
About a man's body.
No.
It's a very busy week for Harris, the vice president, making appearances on The View, The Howard Stern Show, and The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. The vice president also sitting down with 60 Minutes for an interview set to air tomorrow night.
Yay.
Do we have a real close ally in Prime Minister Netanyahu?
I think, with all due respect, the better question is, do we have an important alliance between the American people and the Israeli people? And the answer to that question is yes.
Meanwhile, her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, also making the media rounds this week. He'll appear alongside Harris during that 60 Minutes interview before making his late-night debut on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Today, he took the time to praise the vice president's economic agenda.
Donald Trump kept his promise. He cut taxes for the wealthiest. She's talking about making sure things like a child tax credit, $6,000 child tax credit, put more money in people's pocket, making sure that we're able to buy those things, whether it's a crib or it's baby formula, get started. And she's simply asking that we can pay for it by asking those at the top to pay their fair share.
And the Harris campaign looking to get a big boost this week from former President Barack Obama. He will start campaigning across battleground states, planning several events in the final 27 days before the election. His first event Thursday in Battleground, Pennsylvania. And we know that Harris will be making another trip to Las Vegas for a town hall with undecided Hispanic voters on Thursday. That's before heading to Arizona on Friday to encourage people to participate in early voting.
All right, so she's got a big media blitz week planned. She'll be on 60 Minutes tonight. That was pre-recorded, obviously. And if you have CBS available to you, you could watch her appearance on 60 Minutes tonight. Now, of course, Donald Trump was supposed to also do a 60 Minutes, but he weaseled out. He chickened out. He didn't want to show up. And in fact, all the things that Kamala Harris has been invited on, all of the interviews, all of the sit-downs, all of the places, all of the, the Howard Sterns and the Call Her Daddy and, all of these podcasts. He's been invited on every single one of them. He just won't go where the audience, where the interview isn't guaranteed to repeat his lies and not challenge them as lies, because they are lies.
Wow, I used to be a giant Howard Stern fan, but I haven't checked in with him in a while, actually. But I'm definitely going to check this interview. I can't wait for that.
What interview?
With Harris.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, see, because Donald Trump is like, no, I'm not doing
CBS
it.
is saying that you have pulled out of a planned interview on 60 Minutes. I'd just like you to address that report, and if you indeed are not doing the interview, explain your reasoning why.
Well, right now they came to me and would like me to do an interview, but first I want to get an apology, because the last time I did an interview with them, if you remember, they challenged me on the computer. They said the laptop from hell was from Russia.
They never said that.
And I said it wasn't from Russia, it was from Hunter. And I never got an apology, so I'm sort of waiting.
Because
I'd love
it never
to do 60
happened.
Minutes. I do everything. I mean, I do you right now, right?
I do you.
And you're tougher than 60 Minutes, frankly. So I like to get an apology, so I've asked them for an apology. Let's see if they do it. I wouldn't mind doing 60. I've done 60 Minutes a lot. I did 60 Minutes twice with Mike Wallace, the great Mike Wallace. He was great. His son is from a different ballpark. His son doesn't have, I said, you want to be like your father? You just don't have the talent.
What a lowlife. What a scumbag. I'm so sorry. I mean, Chris Wallace, you don't have to like him, but he's obviously a decent journalist. You don't have the talent. Donald, you know, he is such a despicable, grotesque excuse for a 78-year-old human. And I say 78 years old because by then you should have learned a little thing, like how to treat other people. Like, you know, being a bully is, you know, not going to, it's not going to win you hearts and minds. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I have to tell you this. This is unbelievable. So check this out. So Friday, I'm done. I go home. I'm excited. It's Friday. Okay, I love freaking Friday. I've always loved Friday. Everybody that's listening, you know, knows Friday was my thing. It's always Friday, you bastard. I love Friday. So it's Friday, and I'm driving home, and I'm thinking, do I have beer? Do I have what I need to, you know, make a nice dinner? You know, something like that, right? Do I have fries? Whatever I'm gonna do. And so I call Howard and I ask him if he needs anything. Blah blah blah. I'll be home soon. No, he's good. Okay, great. This is perfect. So I'm going to go home. I'm going to sit by the pool. I'm going to watch my little robot go back and forth. That's all I need. That's all I need. Okay. And I get home and Howard's pacing back and forth. I go, uh-oh, something happened. What happened? He goes, Rand, I got to tell you something. I'm really pissed off. And I know this is going to upset you, but I'm glad it happened. I'm glad I did it. Oh, what did you do, Howard? What did you do? You know that guy that has the Trump sign in front of his house? Yes, Howard. I know the guy that has the Trump sign in front of his house. Well, it's still there. Now, I do live in a gated community, meaning the criminals are now behind the gates with me. We're locked in together. That's what a gated community actually produces. So we have a homeowners association, and the homeowners association does not allow political signs because they want to keep it consistently lovely. Okay. Now, you can fly an American flag all you want. We have lots of neighbors who are sheriffs. They fly their Blue Lives Matter flags. I got a guy who's a Marine, and for some weird reason, he doesn't know what the flag flying law is, and so he puts them on the ground. I've told you about this guy a million times. He puts them little American flags all over his yard where the dogs pee upon them, and it really upsets me because dogs pee on the American flag because of... Anyway, he's got a big Marine thing hanging from his house. You know, he's a Marine. Got another guy who was a paratrooper in Iraq. Okay, they all can fly their squadron flags, their battalion flags, their, you know, corps flags. What? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. But I had neighbors that were putting out a Kamala Harris. I told you this. I had neighbors that were putting out Harris wall signs. And don't think that the homeowners association didn't sweep on in and say, take that sign out of your yard. They did it with me when I had an Obama sign, okay? And they made me take it off my lawn. So now we're going back to what, 2008? 2012, okay, and they said I couldn't have the sign. So I put the sign, I took it out because they're right, that's what the bylaws say, and I put it upstairs in a window, and they said I couldn't do that either. So this guy with his giant Trump sign, it's kind of annoying because I know Howard called the homeowners association and said he wanted that sign gone, all right? So Howard walked over to the guy's house on a Friday when I'm trying to relax, have a peaceful evening, and he went to grab the sign out of the ground, and it was a PVC pipe thing, and broke it. Broke it. And now he's standing there with a broken Trump sign in his hand, looking guilty of sin, and a crazy lady neighbor, her name's Sue. I've known her for years. She stole my trumpet trees, okay? She stole trees, rare, beautiful trees that I grew. It took me 5 years to get them to bloom. Stole them, okay? Climbed through my kitchen window one time. Psycho. She saw Howard do it. She said, why would you do that? I said, oh my God, Howard, you're going to bring violence to our home. They're going to come. They're all crazy. You don't know these people. They're all bad. He goes, I am not sorry. I'm not sorry. I go, well, now I can't have a beer because the night isn't even over. It hasn't even begun because they're going to come knocking on this door. They're going to come knocking on the door, and I need to be lucid. Well, I'm not sorry.
All things Randi at RandiRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, The Randi Rhodes Show.
Over the past 8 years, those who want to stop us from achieving this future have slandered me, impeached me, indicted me, tried to throw me off the ballot, and who knows, maybe even tried to kill me.
What?
But I've never stopped fighting for you, and I never will. Never will.
Okay, I'm not mad at Howard anymore. No, okay, so here's what happened. So I said to him, look, I don't believe in political violence at all, ever, and you're not allowed to break up people's things. It's true that the Homeowners Association should have told him by now to take that sign down, and he had plenty of time to comply with that because the Harris Walz signs are all down now because the Homeowners Association told everybody that put one up that they had to take it down. And I know what that experience is because they did it with me with Obama, which is why I didn't put up a Harris Walz, because I know I'd have to take it down anyway. So I said, you need to still go over there and apologize to him for breaking his things. You don't get to go on someone's property and break their things. Well, I'm not sorry I did it. I said, well, go over there and pretend you are, because I need peace. I need peace in this house.
I'm proud of you, Howard.
So Howard leaves the house with the dog. I guess he figured the dog would be a deterrent. I don't know. And he runs into our neighbor across the street, Buzzy, who's, he's one of us, okay? He's on my side. And he's on Howard's side. He loves Howard. Everybody loves Howard. So he tells Buzzy, he has to unload. He tells Buzzy, and she's really upset. And Buzzy goes, well, except for the fact that Randy's upset, I'm with you. I'm with you. I know that guy. And, he's douchey, And I go, well, he must be douchey because, they told him to take down the sign. He didn't take down the sign. So Howard goes over there and he, knocks on his door and he says, listen, I'm the guy that, broke your sign. And I just wanted to let you know that I'm not really sorry because I know you're not supposed to have it or anything like that. And I saw people with Harris Walz signs be told to take their signs down, and they did. And for some strange reason, you people think that none of the rules apply to you. So I got a little, pissed off, and I broke your damn sign. I'll happily pay you for it. And the guy said, no, they did tell me to take my sign down. They did. You're right. What am I right about? You're a douchebag? Pretty much the guy admitted he's a douche. Okay? So Howard said, well, I'm going to, put a check in your mailbox tomorrow. What do you think that thing costs? He said $100. $100 for this gigantic Trump sign. So Howard came. I go, I'm really proud of you. I really am. You're the bigger guy. You're the better guy. You're the man of the manly. This is why they're a bunch of incels. They can't get laid. His wife is probably freaking out and going, you invited people over to this house to break things that I don't. And I'm on the other end of it going, you are inviting people to come knock on the door because you went over and broke things. So there you have it. That's what goes on in suburbia. And on the check, he wrote the guy a check. He wrote in the memo box where you write what the check is for. He wrote satisfaction. Yeah. And he keeps on telling me, I'm not sorry. I know you want me to say I'm sorry, but I am not. I am not sorry. This guy is this whole campaign, the entire attitude of this country. Look, people are literally out of their houses. They are literally flooded out. There is no such thing as flood insurance. And Donald Trump is out there lying, telling them they're getting $750 from Kamala Harris and nothing else. Like, who does that? Who weaponizes a natural disaster exactly in real time when the people haven't even gotten to a hotel? They haven't even gotten a towel to dry their hair. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, who does crap like that? So, they call this, when you get upset about Trump's lies and when you get upset about him, disorienting people, they say, oh, it's Trump derangement syndrome. Oh, please, it's not. You don't even know the half of what this guy is doing. You should be outraged at what he's doing right now to, Tennessee, what he's doing to disinform people in Georgia, what he's doing to misinform people in North Carolina. You should be sickened by him at this point. But, okay, some people are like all about the mass deportation. So, as I was saying, that is like a direct path to complete economic ruin. So I'm looking at the numbers. Jamel Bowie is a really good writer at the New York Times. And I know, it's the New York Times. It doesn't matter that it's the New York Times. You can look up these numbers any way you want. You could look up, OMB has them. The numbers come from government agencies like the Office for Management and Budget. These are real numbers of what our gross domestic product would look like if we deported, I'm guessing like 3 to 6%. Let me make sure my numbers are right. I wouldn't want to give a Trumper false information or bad information. Let's see. No, they're talking about $7 billion to arrest these people. Okay, you're talking about. He keeps saying 25 million. We don't have 25 million illegal immigrants in this country. We approximately have, and we don't know for real, but approximately we have 11 million people and approximately 2.3 million who are here legally. They've been released on bond or parole or under an order of supervision, meaning they had family here and the court pending their asylum claim being heard and adjudicated. They can go live with their family, conditional release. There's all, and of course, Haitians are here on temporary protected status, right? So now everybody's become familiar with that. So there's lots of people here, but they're here legally. And then there's about 11 million that aren't, right? So if he's blaming everything on migrants. He's blaming the weather on migrants now. He's blaming, literally, housing, the cost of housing, which is a supply and demand thing, and it's also, a gouging thing, on migrants. Everything's migrants' fault. Everything is migrants' fault, And somehow, if we deported the migrants, it would lower the cost and alleviate the housing crisis. Well, let me tell you what it would do. I'll skip all the numbers, okay? And I'll get them all together for the next segment so you can have them. But what it would do is it would crash our economy. We would have, at the very least, another great recession, and at the very most, a Great Depression. So, yeah, the price of things would come down. But you would have nothing. So it would still be out of reach. Do you see what I'm saying? Anyway, think of him as a snake oil salesman. A con man, a snake oil salesman, and his elixir that he's selling is mass deportation. It's the miracle tonic. It's the thing that will cure everything that's wrong with the United States. But what it actually does is it destroys our economy. It actually increases inflation. It actually, because you won't have workers in very essential industries to do that work. And so where do they work? Some of them are in construction. I think that might have something to do with the cost of housing. Some of them work in agriculture. I think that might have to do with the cost of food. You see what I mean? You get rid of those workers and you're going to have inflation that's out of control. You're also going to have production lower. And so that's GDP, gross domestic product. It's the one guarantee that I can promise you would crash our economy is mass deportation. So do you think he'll really do it? Don't have time to listen to the live show? Want to hear more on your schedule? Go to RandiRhodes.com and buy a stinking podcast.